to define.
Yes.
Well, that's what my name is, the power to define. You won't find it in someone's book unless I write it because I wrote it.
Yes.
The name came about as a result of some time ago I was involved with a Black Hebrew Israelite group, and Ima or Ima is a term used for mother, and that's what they used to call me, Ima. But I've always spelled Ima with an I-M-A-H. And as you know, time progressed, and when we made the move to go to Africa, I thought about changing my name, but I wasn't so gung ho about it. In 1984, a young sister started my name change when she told me that she wouldn't call me Sister Blackie, because that's what my friends used to call me, Sister Blackie. You know, I used to have a boyfriend that said I was the blackest thing he'd ever gone out with, so everybody started calling me Sister Blackie. So this sister, very spiritual young sister, said, I'm not going to call you Blackie, I'm going to call you Kus, because we know that Cush is the land of the burnt-faced people. And to me, you're a queen. So I said, okay. I wrote it in my Bible in 1984. I didn't change my name. My name was originally Vienna, and I liked Vienna. My father named me Vienna, and it was all right with me. But as I began to become more conscious of who I was as an African person, I thought about the name change. You know, people called me then Ima Vienna. That was all right. And then I thought, you know, when we were moving back to Africa and everything, I said I really wanted to take something else with me. So I said, all right, then my name is IMAHKUS. Well, I went into this health food restaurant where my husband and I used to go while we were waiting to move, because everything had been moved out of our house, so we were sleeping on the floor, and I was not cooking. Okay, I don't like to cook anyway, but I really wasn't cooking, so I was eating at a health food restaurant. So the last day I went in there to see the brother and said, yo, brethren, this is the last meal that me gonna have with you coming. Gone. Send me him. Gone where, sister? I said, I told you I'm going to Africa. So is Africa me a gone? Hear him. Sister, me don't know your name. All this time me just know your sister. Me don't know your name. So I said, oh, my name is IMAHKUS. He said, no, sister, the name is IMAHKUS. I one with the Almighty God. So when I heard it, you know, when you know something is perfect and it fits, it was like, bam! I ran outside and I told my husband, I said, from this day forward, my name is IMAHKUS. And he said, sounds all right with me, baby. And, you know, we went on.
Now, sister, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What is your husband's name?
Now, my husband's name is Nana Okofo Itri Kweku the First. Nana because he's a chief. Nana Okofu because of the day of the week he was born. Itri because Itri is the name of the village where he's a chief. Nana Okofu Itri Kweku the First because he's the first African born in America to return to this village as a chief.
Really?
Now, Nana being chief, Nana Okofo Itri was the name of the man who founded the village.
Right.
Okofu, Itri means he's in the garden. Okofu means the mighty warrior and the number one. So, you know, the name was okay. We were going through some difficult times because it wasn't easy to return to Ghana.
Right.
And we went through some difficult times, you know, and I saw parts of my husband that I'd never seen before. You know, now this man come from America, he's in Africa, you know, like this. So I had traveled and I had done a numerical workup on the name.
And your husband's name?
On the entire name.
Okay.
And when it came to Okofo, Okofu, it was 666.
Wow.
So most people who are students of the Bible, and I'm not a student of the Bible, but you know, it's spiritually, 666 is the mark of the beast.
Exactly.
And I said, I did not want that vibration on me. So I looked at it and I said, well, if I changed one letter, I could change the vibration.
Yes.
So I changed it to Okofu. Believe me, it causes problems because people correct me all the time, especially in Ghana.
Yes.
Saying, oh, but madam, your name is Okofo. I say, your name is Okofo, My name is Okofu. It's called power to define.
Yes, it
And
is.
in in the times that we live, a woman doesn't necessarily have to have her husband's name
Right.
as such.
Right.
So I explained this to my husband, and my husband said, I'm not changing my name because that's my chieftaincy name. I said,
Oh, I
fine.
see.
So he doesn't change it, but it often causes, questions to be raised, and people say, why is her name this? So I said, tell you what, if it's going to cause any problems, just call me IMAHKUS Njinga, finish,
And that's it.
and that's it. So often I'm just known as IMAHKUS Njinga, you know, because he's still my husband.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
Now, how was your husband picked to be a warrior chief in that particular village?
Well, surprisingly enough, in 1987, I visited that village.
Okay.
I walked that road. I stood on that land.
Okay.
Not intending to live there, but I stood on the rocks in front of our place, and I said to myself, God, this is where I want to spend the rest of my life. I had been into the village, been into the dungeons,
Yes.
and girl, after I'd had that experience, I was standing out there on the waterfront. I said, I would love to have this. I would love to have this as my daily, when I walk out my gate,
That's right.
there it is, right here on the ocean.
Okay.
Years later, my husband and I went back and forth to Ghana together a few times,
Okay.
and I think it was in 1988, 89 that my husband was there, and he would go there to sit on these rocks to read his Bible.
Okay.
And one day when he was going by, there were a group of people, and he thought they were having church or Bible study, so he stopped to say, well, what's going on? And they were having a fundraiser to raise money for lights for their village, which did not have it. So he went a couple of times, and they asked him if he would be their chief, if he would become a chief. And he said, well, he really have to think on it.
Okay.
So he spent some time. He said he prayed on it. He came and told me about it, and he said, well, I didn't say yes, but I need to think about it.
Exactly.
He did, and then he went back and told them that he would take it. So they, in turn, gave him, as the warrior chief of that village, they gave him land. The land that they gave him was the land that I stood on in 1987.
Wow. Wow.
And when I saw it, it was like, I've been to this village, Nana. I stood on this land. I've stood on these rocks. I know this place. So they gave us over an acre of land,
Okay.
in which we now have developed it. It's now called One Africa. Everybody calls it One Africa House.
Yeah, we're gonna get into
You know,
One Africa.
And
yeah.
so that's how we came about that land.